That's the second time it's done it. What is with this thing? Oh my goodness. What is the deal here? It's the second time that's happened now. What the heck? There we go. Good Lord. What a pain in the butt. Welcome back, folks. How y'all doing? How's it going out there? Are you well? Me, not so much. A little struggle there to get this thing going there. Oof, another incoming call from a spamster. Stop calling me. I'm not at home. I'm overseas. Anyway, welcome back, folks. News time. Waiting for a response from Noel to make sure that we're live tonight. If we are, then I'll cut this one short. Hello, Philip Holtz. How are you tonight? This afternoon here in, wet England. Once again, sitting out in the rain. Yeah, so anyway. How's it going? I see lots of people jumping in there. Good to see you all now, folks. Let me go ahead and as soon as it starts, I'll turn that off. Okay. Stop the video flowing, but I will keep the chat open here so we can see the chat. Good evening, everyone else. How's it going? Orangutan Juice. What the heck is that? Angelo's back. I haven't seen Angelo in a while. Emerenci is back. Leon Watley. Paul Ferreira. Hey, Paul, what's going on? A lot of folks tuning in now at the regular news time. I'm a little bit late, but that's because I had to get set up here, folks. Yet another Costa. And I've got my sippy cup once again here, folks, with my cappuccino. The heck is that? Oh, that's some foam spilled on the side there. All right, let's get to the news. You'll forgive me if I skip past, hi Eric, if I skip past some of the chat that's come up there. Why do I smell cigarettes? There's nobody out here. Interesting. All right. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Hope that's still there. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. Let's get, why is this not going? There we go, full window. It took a little while to get there. So AfriForum and SAAI have released a publication about the transgressions of one Julius Sellotape Malema. And it's quite detailed, folks. Quite detailed. It's called Malema Dossier, Request to the International Community to take punitive action against Julius Malema for human rights violations and corruption and for supporting terrorist organizations. AfriForum at SAAI. And I'll read to you. I'll make a video on this later tonight, but request the international community to take punitive action against him. Leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, influential South African politician. Can you guys hear me okay? That's one thing I didn't ask, if people can hear me okay. I've got the attached external microphone on again, so let me just check and see how that sounds from my perspective. Okay, I'm going to get live again here. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Perspective. Okay, get live again here. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, it sounds brilliant. Okay, cool beans. All right. Good. So we're good there. Thank you, guys. All right. Okay. So a lot of traffic behind me. That's why I put this microphone on. Hopefully it cancels out some of the noise. I've got K-Way rain jacket on because, well, it's raining here. Sunny over there, but it was pouring a while ago. Rain was coming sideways earlier today. As an influential South African politician, through his ethnically motivated calls for the murder of Afrikaners and farmers, among other things, he consistently commits gross human rights violations. These calls are regularly made in front of large crowds with a chanting of the slogan, "Kill the Boer to kill the farmer." Afrikaners, of course, are historically known as the Boers. Malema is also facing prima facie corruption case in addition to evident human rights violations. These cases involve the looting of the state treasury as well as bank for poor people. In addition, he made numerous public calls for support of terrorist organizations such as Hamas and does not hesitate to make radical anti-Western statements in public. He even suggested he would supply munitions to Hamas if he were to assume the presidency of South Africa. The situation has been further exacerbated by the failure of the South African government, the National Prosecuting Authority, and the courts to hold him accountable for his human rights violations and alleged corruption. Malema has become more openly radical as a consequence of the reluctance to prosecute him. He believes he has become untouchable. AfriForum, a South African civil rights organization with over 300,000 members, has in recent years already pursued all available remedies in South Africa to hold Malema accountable. For instance, they waged a protracted legal battle for years to have his chanting "Kill the Boer" declared hate speech, with the aim of putting an end to his gross violation of human rights through his chant. Regrettably, the Constitutional Court authorized him to sing murderous songs. So that's a fantastic document out there, a dossier on Julius Malema. And you folks are welcome to check into it. Let me just see if I got a response from one Ronaldo Khuz. No response. Okay, so I'll keep checking. The Stellenbosch Human Resources Officer for the municipalities in Deep Kimchi, and that's a video I published last night and one earlier about an hour ago now, about, white people are the problem. Can you believe that racists like this exist? Well, yeah, it's easy to believe. A Stellenbosch municipality human resources manager is under investigation after a controversial video of him surfaced from 2 years ago. In the clip, he can be heard suggesting that life for white employees should be made difficult so that they resign. Alexandra Kunnemeyer was previously involved in misconduct dispute with former corporate services director Annelie de Beer. In a widely shared clip, which I've also shared, Alexander Kannemeyer voiced his disapproval of the appointment of a white man, and expresses concerns that the appointment hinders transformation within the organization. You see, they are the transformers. They transform South Africa from a vibrant, developing, nearly first world economy into a failed, racist, segregationist third world country. That's what they've transformed into. They are the transformers of South Africa. He says, the older I get, the less I like people on motorcycles. I have a big concern that every time we appoint somebody and come back and go to the highest score, it's always a white male. Well, maybe there's a systemic, the rain is really coming down now. I'm going to get drenched here in a minute. Maybe there's a systemic problem with your education system that the highest scoring person is always a white male. I believe we're never going to get this organization right with that type of attitude. How is the organization right? By excluding white people? Does that make the organization right? Is that right? Is that right in your eyes, Mr. Kannemeyer? Oh my goodness. Here it comes. Can you hear that? I can feel it. Woo, baby. That's like a spring shower. It's coming down like really hard now. Hopefully it won't last long. Because I see the sunshine about 5 kilometers away. Yeah, exactly. See what I do to bring you guys the news, man? I'm getting soaked on my right leg because it's coming off the umbrella here. Whew. My bag on the ground's getting wet. Yeah, it's a downpour, all right. And the sun is shining a very short distance away. I can't tell which way the clouds are moving. I hope they're moving the sunshine my way. Anyway. Napoleon knows of a multimillionaire that just went over on the refugee program. Yes, I told you guys all along, as I told Willem Petzer, it's not simply poor, toothless, uneducated oaks that are coming over. I know 6 dollar millionaire South Africans who are trying to come over on the program. And as you said, one of them's already come over. That's right, 5 seasons in the United Kingdom all in one afternoon. Peter Rabbit's getting wet. I got to move him. Can I put him in my pocket maybe? Keep him dry. Let's put him in his pocket over here. He stays dry. Got to bunch him up a little bit to give him the pocket here. Clouds are gathering. Clouds are here. They're not gathering. The clouds are here. Man, oh man. God bless it. There we go. Still not quite right. Anyway, so Kannemeyer spews horrible racist stuff. So the only way things are right for this man is if there are no white people working for the municipality. What kind of nonsense is that? What is right is when the municipality delivers the services that it's supposed to and governs efficiently. That's that, ladies and gentlemen. I can see the sun. Now I can see the sun, not just sunny sky, but I can see the sun breaking through the clouds. And it's pouring here. This shouldn't last too long. Famous last words. He said, I believe that we're never going to get this organization right with that type of attitude. We're not going to transform, and we are going to struggle for years and years. Struggle what? To eliminate white people from South Africa, you racist scumbags that say stuff like this. Wow. He says he took issue with the appointment of white men over internal staffers. I have a problem with that because the message we're sending out, especially internal staff, is they don't have the capability and competency for it. Well, of course they don't have the capability and competency. Look at me, the sun hitting me now as I get soaked. What the hell's going on here, man? Am I a Mordor? I'm getting soaked and I'm getting a sunburn at the same time. What kind of nonsense is that? I'm going to have like a little line across my face right here. Quite frankly, I'll take the clouds back over that sunshine. My goodness. My goodness. I'm saying we make life difficult for the person who came in. The person resigns and afterwards we get what we want. Racism. That's what Mr. Kannemeyer wants. He wants racism. Yeah, well, he's colored, so wait till it affects him. Wait till black people push him out. Wow, the mayor. Now, let's not let the Democratic Alliance off the hook on this. I haven't seen anybody make this analysis. But who has been the political party that's controlled the mayorship and the council of Stellenbosch since 2011 outright? No coalition, outright. Outright, the Democratic Alliance. So for the Democratic Alliance to come along now and say they're going to do an investigation for somebody who said this 2.5 years ago is a bit rich. It's a bit rich. Wouldn't you say? My goodness. It is a bit rich, to say the least. I can't even get out of the sun now. Gee, many crickets. Wow. That's just plain crazy. Now, the music wasn't that loud inside, and they didn't seem to have an objection to me coming in, but I'm going to try to stick out here and see if I can stick it out. Okay, told you the rain wouldn't last, man. It's like somebody just flushed the toilet. God flushed the toilet, and now it's not raining. But that was pretty heavy. Yeah, the DA can distance themselves all they want, but they have governed that municipality with this racist behavior going on. How many people have been forced out of work? How many people had a miserable existence? How many people have been treated like shite because of the city they work for? Speaking of flushing the toilet, it's time to flush the toilet in Stellenbosch. It is time to flush the Stellenbosch toilet and get rid of the racist in government there that work for the DA. They work for the DA. I'm saying we make life difficult for the person that came in. And the person resigns. Afterwards, we get what we want. Racism. Racism. So Trump was wrong. And F reformer just tarnishing South Africa's reputation. Really? I think this racist behavior is what tarnishes South Africa's reputation. Yeah, I think that's what it tarnishes it. Stellenbosch Mayor Jeremy Facer said the video was recorded in 2023 prior to his term. But Jeremy Facer was a member of the council in 2023. He didn't just rock up in Stellenbosch and become the mayor in November of 2024. He was on the council. The council's responsible for the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is racist. This is South Africa's Stellenbosch municipality, racist to the core. Unbelievable. So he's harmed because white men are being hired because they're the most competent. So he doesn't care about competency in delivering services to the residents of Stellenbosch. He cares about transformation because, of course, Mr. Kahnemeyer is a transformer. A transformer, transforming South Africa into a crap hole. Yeah, so the mayor has said, in his credit, I'm currently undertaking an investigation into the matter and will issue a further statement when this is completed. At face value, the video is a cause for significant concern, and we'll get to the heart of the matter and take appropriate further action as warranted. Do you have confidence? Can I do a poll? Let me go to my... Do you have confidence that the DA's investigation will do anything? Will it make consequences? Here we go. I can do a poll from my laptop. Start a poll. Do you have confidence? Whoops, that's not how you spell have. Why do I keep typing the wrong word? All right. All right, there you go, folks. There's a poll up. You can vote in the poll. Do you have confidence that the DA will take action over this racism? Yeah, they're just going to talk. I agree. The hell is that noise? Good Lord, that's an annoying sound. A Nissan electric car making this screeching sound as it backs up, like it's a construction vehicle. That's just crazy. It's quite annoying. Creepy sound. Anyway, yeah, so that's what Kahnemeyer's up to, folks. Let's get back to that story. Okay, municipal spokesperson Stuart Gerberdar said that Kahnemeyer remained employed while the probe was underway. Of course. They love to hire racists. Now, I'm not calling Mr. Kahnemeyer racist. And by the way, he stated in the video, he doesn't mind people calling him a racist. He doesn't mind. So I wonder if he'll ever file any criminal injury case against anybody because he basically gave him a carte blanche to call him a racist for his racist actions. He said so in the video. In light of the video being circulated on social media, the remarks, if accurate, reported in context, run directly contrary to the DA's values and principles. Do they really? Do they really? We'll see. We'll see. See if the DA can step up instead of stand up. Well, Jean-Luc Duprier, I don't know if he's injured or what, but suddenly they got a problem. He was walking with a limp to the hotel. People are a little bit concerned. So journalists are saying that Jean-Luc Duprier may not be up to snuff for the Springboks match. You know, they haven't won at Eden Park since 1937. Can you imagine that? It's been nearly 100 years since they last beat the All Blacks on their own turf at Eden Park. Okay, what I'm going to do is shift. Well, no, it doesn't matter because I still be sitting in the sun no matter what I do. All right, yeah, so it's just crazy. Also, for United Rugby Championship news, the Sorrow has now become a full shareholder. Now, I'm curious how they did this since they don't have any money. South African Rugby has become the 6th shareholder in the URC, joining Irish, Italian, Scots, Welsh unions, as well as the CVC Capital Partners. It's a milestone that strengthens the relationship with the URC, allowing profit sharing. So I'm guessing they became members without paying anything because Sorrow has no money. It's a bankrupt organization unless something has happened we don't know about. So there you have it, folks. Yeah, so we'll see what the DA does over Stellenbosch, but I have zero confidence that anything will happen. You're surprised if you're surprised. The manager's sentiment has been white people's lives. Yeah, I know. Well, Ronald Lowe, it's not a surprise. It's the fact that it's videotaped, and he had no problem saying that. And that someone released the video. That's the surprise. He's barely in the edge of the video too, but we've got him. We've got him dead to rights. And there's so many more like him. So many more like him throughout South Africa, throughout the government, throughout the private sector, who have no shame in being racist. Well, the DA posted a response last night when this thing broke. The story was still developing at 4:30 my time, 5:30 South Africa time yesterday. When I made my video, there have been no updates around 10:30 last night, my time, so 11:30 South Africa time. So I've had a video up since midnight South Africa time, and it's not doing particularly well because of the censorship and the shadow banning. It should be a lead story, just like the same thing about Malema should have been. But anyway, yeah, so this is more proof that Donald Trump is correct, 100% correct. Well, Burkina Faso's parliament has passed a law criminalizing homosexuality. Under the new law, foreign nationals who engage in homosexual conduct could face deportation. The Burkina Faso parliament on September 1st passed legislation that criminalizes conduct promoting same-sex relationships. See, not the conduct, but promoting it. So if you promote same-sex relationships, then you're going to be punished. See, this is the kind of bullshit law that Uganda passed back in 2014, that meant that anybody who encouraged people to use condoms when they were having sex could be prosecuted for encouraging homosexuality. That's how loose this law is. Same thing here. Known as the Persons and Family Code, was passed unanimously by 71 unelected members of the transitional corrupt military junta parliament. They were installed after the military seized power back. Hey, thank you, Johan Erasmus, for your membership. Justice Minister Adasso Rodrigue Balaya told the nation's state-run broadcaster that under the new law, any person who engaged in homosexual practice could face 2 to 5 years in prison along with fines. He stated that offenders would have to face legal proceedings, while foreign nationals who violate the law could be deported for repeat offenses. The government said the measure was intended to modernize family law and clarify nationality rules in Burkina Faso. Of course, the government of Burkina Faso is illegitimate. It's a military junta that overthrew the elected government of Burkina Faso, facilitated by terrorists attacking the country. Hang on. All right, had to respond to Ronaldo. Linky Mays for your membership of 6 months. So law still requires approval from the junta leader, Ibrahim Traoré, who seized power in September 22 after ousting Damba in a military coup, back-to-back coups. So yeah. Amnesty International says the legislation is a setback for the nation. Where are the leftists? Where are the whiny, crybaby, pink rainbow leftists who scream about how America is evil because people complain about transgender nonsense? They're not saying anything about this legislation. It's not the only place to criminalize homosexuality. Uganda is back at it again, folks. Uganda has passed a new law that adds the death penalty as punishment for some case of homosexuality, including rape, incest, and spreading HIV/AIDS. So the United States, which criminalized the intentional transmission of HIV at many state levels until California decriminalized it ludicrously recently. So in California, if you have HIV and you know it, and you intentionally infect your sexual partner, it's a misdemeanor crime now, not a felony. However, in Uganda, that would be, if a homosexual does it, would be the death penalty. On May 29th, Uganda President Museveni enacted the 2023 anti-gay laws. Oh, God bless it, here comes that sun again. Jeez, this is terrible. Anyway, man, you know, the clouds are here when you don't need them, and they're not there when you do need them. I may have to go inside for the Ronaldo show, but now I'm starting to cook. Here it is evening. I'm starting to get sunburn. Whew. Meanwhile, the earthquake in Afghanistan, death toll reaches 1,400. The UN coordinator said the world cannot afford to forget the people of Afghanistan. Well, maybe all the people who fled Afghanistan to America should go back and fix the situation there. Good God, that's horrible. Jeez, and there's nowhere for me to go. The umbrellas are in the sun. I can't even tilt the damn thing to come down. It's just fixed. Yep, it's fixed. Oh my goodness. Wow. You know what? I can do this. I can hold this up, and hopefully that helps. There we go. I'll hold up my rain jacket, and hopefully that helps. It doesn't quite help. There we go. My arm is going to get tired pretty fast. The UN coordinators said the world cannot afford to forget the people of Afghanistan. The death toll from Sunday's earthquake in Kunar and Nangarhar provinces was originally put at 800. Taliban government of Kabul has since raised that figure of 1,411 deaths, 3,124 injuries, more than 5,400 homes destroyed. Wow. You guys laugh. It's not a funny situation. The United States has released 33,000 pages of Epstein files. So all the people whose feelings were hurt about Epstein, where are you at now? Where are you at now? Now, there's nowhere to hook it on the umbrella. It's a huge umbrella, but not huge enough. The clouds are there. They're just approaching the sun. It should be back in a moment. Hopefully it'll cover the sun back up. So this is so that everyone can see the documents. Well, I don't care about the documents. You know, let the courts get it done. Let the police get it done. U.S. House Representatives Committee released the first batch of documents on Thursday from the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. A case that's become a political lightning rod. More than 33,000 pages of records related to Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell are uploaded to a House Committee on Oversight reform website after being handed over to the Justice Department. It's going to be as quick as we can get them uploaded, James Comer said. We want those to be public as soon as possible. Werner Duron, thank you for the 70 rip. Super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. Super chats are falling. Clouds are gathering. Thank you, clouds. Cover up that sun. Keep it out of my face. All right. Trump supporters have been obsessed with the Epstein case. No, not. I'm supporting Trump, and I don't give a flying flip about the Epstein case when Trump was president or when he was not president. I don't care. Let justice take its course. I care about the Biden administration censoring Americans using third-party agents illegally in violation of the First Amendment, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, to silence American speech illegally. That's what I care about. Those transgressors need to be arrested. By the way, I also care about corrupt grand juries of shameful people in Washington, D.C. not returning an indictment against a woman who threatened to murder the President of the United States. So you can threaten to murder the President of the United States now with no consequences in America because the idiots brought the case in Washington, which is full of shameful, disgusting people. Unbelievable. So they put, the Biden administration put, or no, it was Obama administration, put a former Navy sailor in prison because he took a photograph of his teammates inside a submarine where he wasn't allowed to take a picture. Didn't include any sensitive classified information or sensitive classified equipment. And he went to prison for a year as a felon under Obama. But this woman has threatened the life of the president, even told the Secret Service that she's to kill him. She said that. And a grand jury refused to return an indictment against her. Thank you very much for the 35 rain. Clouds are gathering. Unbelievable. So, Representative Ro Khanna of California, the Indian fellow, and Thomas Massie held a conference today, and they talked about the release of these documents. And that was coming there. So, China. Oh, remember a few weeks back on the Army's birthday on June 14th, when the left lost their mind? Oh, Trump, he's a pretend soldier. He's a pretend warrior. Look at him. He's an autocrat. He's a dictator. He wants to have a big military parade of the Army. Like we should be ashamed of the Army on our 250th birthday. 250-year birthday for the Army. And we should be ashamed of it. Trump wanted a parade, and they lost their mind. Today, the Chinese had a parade. The Chinese communists displayed all their new weapons, and not one hate-wanking leftist loser has complained. Oh, look at the Chinese. Oh, look at them. They're trying to flex their muscle. They're just wannabe dictators. They want to rule the world. Oh, the Chinese are a threat. Not one comment like that from any of them. Even the Wall Street Journal. They're pathetic. They're fake journalists. They're fake commentators. They're just a bunch of social media. I'm going to use the word, but I'm not going to use the word. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to look no further than that situation of the U.S. Army celebrating its 250th birthday and having a parade, and all the bile and vitriol and shameful conduct that was committed by leftists and by the mainstream legacy media in America, and contrast it with today, when the Chinese communists hold a warmongering parade to show off their new weaponry to intimidate the world. Not one peep. No, the Chinese are perfectly fine communists who murdered 30 to 40 million people in the Cultural Revolution, and it's okay for them to have parades. But my army can't have a parade to celebrate 250 years. Ah, piss off. Footsec. Bunch of losers, man. So the Wall Street Journal doesn't criticize, but instead it offers a guide to new weapons on parade in Beijing. Yeah. Chinese leader Xi Jinping brandished a sophisticated new arsenal in grand military parade on Wednesday, showcasing weapons and aircraft that Beijing can use to challenge U.S. power in the Asia-Pacific region. The goal, Chinese Major General Wu Zeke said, is to demonstrate the military's formidable strategic deterrent capability and to win future wars. The military hardware on display was all made in China and in operational service, Wu said. Much of it shown in public for the first time. And here's a photograph of Chinese soldiers who have a copycat helmet identical to our Kevlar. Identical to our Kevlar. But they're talking about how they've come up with all their own incredible stuff here. Yeah. The Wall Street Journal is a captured publication and shameful. BBC, state-run propaganda. China's Xi steals the limelight in a defiant push against U.S.-led world order. So we have three fascist dictators here from socialist wannabes. We have, and the BBC page won't reload. I don't know what's with them. I'm signed into this page now, it won't reload. Oh, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. So we got Putin, Xi Jinping, president for life, and then little, dictator for life, little Kim Jong-un over there. As the cannon fire echoed across Tiananmen Square, even before the first set of troops goose-stepping their way through Beijing's Central Avenue, the day's most enduring image unfolded. China's President Xi Jinping welcomed North Korea's Kim Jong-un with a long handshake, then moved on to greet Russia's Vladimir Putin, and then walked to a seat flanked by two of the world's most sanctioned leaders. And the BBC heralds this as if it's some good thing. State-run propaganda acting as if that is a good thing. Thank you for the super chat there, darling. Daily 70. Couldn't see it. It looks like it wants to rain again, but not yet. It's just the noise. It was sheer political theater, and it was this meeting rather than the weaponry that appears to have irked President Trump. Yeah, Trump is irritated, with good reason. And no doubt because of the fake media out there. So, BBC runs a story about why this matters. What's so important? Meanwhile, Marco Rubio visited Claudia Sheinbaum, the arrogant pisspot that is the president of Mexico. U.S. pressure to crack down on corrupt politicians has squeezed President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico ahead of her meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Rubio will be visiting her. Or is she visiting him? Yeah, I think he's visiting her. When the Mexican drug kingpin Ismael Zabada Garcia agreed to a life sentence in New York courtroom last week, he delivered a message that many Mexican officials found uncomfortable to hear. Sumari, 100 Rand, seems we're both annoyed today. I want to apologize for stupid comment again. No, it's okay. Thank you for the 100 Rand. Sumari, it wasn't a stupid comment. I'm just saying don't give people ideas. You understand why I don't announce my travel. Lots of threats. So just, that's just not thinking about it, folks. You have to understand that these broadcasts are watched by the ANC, the EFF, the DA, MK, Daily Maverick, Newsroom 24, Newsroom Africa, or News 24, Newsroom Africa, the IOL, all of them, the South African, all of them watch this program. And I know they watch the program because all of them go take content from my YouTube channel and use it as news. They report me as news. And some of them just libel me repeatedly. So I know that I was getting loud because the traffic was so loud. The road is soaked now, so it gets a lot louder when the traffic comes through. There's a robot right down here about 100 meters from me. It's really loud. So anyway, yeah. So Sumari, thank you for the 100 Rand, but you don't have to apologize. Just be more, think about what you're saying because people get stupid ideas. Yes, clouds are gathering. They are, folks. Here they're back. They're covering up the sun. Clouds are gathering. Anyway. So it's not exactly a bombshell. Reading his guilty plea, the man known as El Mayo said he had operated freely inside Mexico for years by bribing politicians, police, and military. We all know this, but he admitted it when he got convicted and took a life sentence. Yep. So U.S. tariffs have topped $31 billion in revenue in August, a new record high. Last week, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Trump's tariffs could exceed $500 billion a year, higher than the initial estimate of $300 billion. He wrote on X now that August in the books, tariff revenues topped over $31 billion in the month, a new record high. I think we could be well on our way to over $500 billion, maybe towards $1 trillion number. I don't think it's going to get to $1 trillion, though. Last month, Congressional Budget Office projected Trump's tariffs could lower the budget deficits by about $4 trillion over a decade. Wow. So look at that. $3.3 trillion in lower shortfalls and $700 billion in reduced interest costs. Wow. So Trump is lowering the deficit. Look at that. Hey, 510 people here. Where's everybody show up from all of a sudden? Anyway, but the court is trying to stop the tariffs, even though the president is acting within the law. Minimizing trade deficits between the United States and its global partners has been a key pillar of the president's trade policy. In the months that followed, the White House worked with partners including the EU, UK, China, Japan to sign bilateral deals before the deadline. Last week, a federal court determined that most of Trump's tariffs are illegal. U.S. Court of Appeals for the Circuit ruled 7-4 on August 20th that the president had overstepped the authority of the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The statute bestows significant authority on the president to undertake a number of actions in response to declared national emergency, but none of these actions explicitly include the power to impose tariffs, duties, or the like, or the power to tax. No, the president has the authority to impose tariffs by previous laws. Anyway, Supreme Court is going to review this. They will review it. House Oversight Panel releases some Epstein files as pressure mounts. And thank you, Elardiskoy, for the 40 super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. Tata, Tata, Tata. I see you, Tata. Super chats are gathering. Thanda, Thanda. Super chats are gathering. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. The U.S. has attacked a drug boat. The U.S. conducts a kinetic strike against drug boat from Venezuela, killing 11, according to President Trump. He says, we took it out, referring to operations in international waters. Now you know why these boats went to Venezuela, to attack them. I've done Telegram live streaming and nobody shows up. Nobody shows up. I did that when I had strikes on my channel a couple years back. U.S. military has killed 11 drug traffickers from Venezuela during a kinetic strike in the Caribbean. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring in our country and we're going to stop it. The strike occurred while the terrorists were at sea in international waters transporting illegal narcotics headed to the United States. Strike resulted in 11 terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Please let this service notice to anybody even thinking about bringing drugs into the United States of America. Beware. Thank you, Legion, for the 50 Rand. Super chats are gathering slowly, slowly. Super chats are gathering. Yes, Trump blew them out of the water, folks. He blew them out of the water. In August, U.S. announced a $50 million reward for Maduro's capture, twice the bounty once offered for Osama bin Laden. In July, Trump signed a secret directive greenlighting military force against Latin American cartels. Yep, there you go. There you go, folks. So, Maduro's allies in Venezuela claim that Trump is trying to do regime change. No, we're just trying to stop drug traffickers. What's going on in the chat? Am I missing something important here? Because people are talking about all kinds of things. Let me go over the chat, see if I'm missing something here. Okay. Leah Menard. Hey, Leah, how's it going? Even growing up in apartheid, we're not raised according to apartheid rules, according to the Bible. Yep. Give them the illusion of fake info. Who is that? Militus, what are you talking about? Lorette said, only the truth shall I need. Andreas Harms said, hurrah, hurrah. Francis Ross, hello. Telegram supports live streaming. You can go there. I've done live streaming in Telegram. It hasn't gone well. The odds are gathering is calling in some Southern African tribes called women of the tribe in Indaba. It's not about the weather. It's not the point, Ulrich. It's not the point you're missing. You're missing the point entirely. This was something she said at an international gathering on climate change. She brought the euphemism in. Climate change, clouds, thunder. She applied it to the weather. And she looked like a fool. This international gathering, she looked like an idiot. The president of Botswana looked at her like, are you high? But the demonic cackling stare of Cyril Ramaphosa was hilarious. He was like, so ridiculous. Clowns are gathering, yep. Quick question, how much is coffee in UK? Expensive. This is $4.69, something like that. So $6, $7 for a cup of a large cappuccino. So my super chats after taxes might pay for that. Oh, you only hit the like button now. Please hit the like button, folks. What is that kind of car? I've never seen that car before. Interesting. Is that a lady or can't tell? Oh, I see his long hair. What is Flushing complaining about? Hey, good evening, Flushing. Still waiting for the yes or no on the clinical trial. What clinical trial? Coffee tastes like dishwater in the UK. Okay. I deal with all types of clients. And there's another super chat from Louis Harhoff. He says, I hope this will get you another cup of coffee. That will get me a cup of coffee, even after the taxes. Super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. Thunder. It's a bucket of coffee. That's right, Alan. Yeah, all that caffeine and sugar. Exactly what I need, right? Give a guy with metabolism of a hummingbird caffeine and sugar and see what happens. It's like little kids. They won't go down. You won't go to bed. Good evening. The DA and the ANC are evenly corrupt. This is the reason why they're in a forced marriage. Sus du splickfoot, birds of the same feather. Yep. All right. I'm caught up on the chat. Back to the news. We got to get some more news out here before we run out for Ronaldo. In fact, let me do that and see if we can't get people to come over to that stream afterwards. I got to edit that. So there's Heidi Kruger for your coffee and cake. Well, I didn't have any cake, but now I can get some. Ooh, €2.49. That's like $2.80. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Awesome sauce. Appreciate that. Oh, I didn't realize it was, yeah, look at that. Anybody can comment. That's interesting. I had to redirect. I got to go in and change these things. I didn't realize that. It's annoying how YouTube won't find it unless it's exactly. There we go. Save the changes. Ludwig with 70 Rand. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, it should be only subscribers that are chatting. So if you're not a subscriber, you got to become one to chat. So my apologies for that. That should have been the case all along. So Ludwig with 70 Rand. Happy birthday. You're giving me gifts on your birthday. That's super kind of you. It's interesting to see you're drinking cups of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I'm drinking cappuccino, which is mostly milk and sugar. I like milk and sugar. I always drink cappuccino in South Africa. I tried it in France. It was like, ugh, disgusting. Happy birthday to you, Ludwig. Everybody say happy birthday to Ludwig. All right. So we're past the Mexico thing. Trump says Putin, Xi Jinping, and Kim are conspiring against the U.S. Yep. And he's right. They are conspiring against the U.S. President Donald Trump said the head of the Chinese Communist Party was conspiring with leaders of Russia and North Korea as they gathered for military parade to mark the anniversary of China's defeat of the Japanese World War II. Except the people who defeated the Japanese are the Americans and the Kuomintang, not the communists. The communists are busy killing Chinese. And they fought against the Japanese, but they're not the reason the Japanese lost. As the parade began on Wednesday local time, Trump asked at a post on Truth Social whether she would mention, good Lord, that's a strong wind. Oof, blowing rain in my face now off the other umbrella over there. And my laptop actually got lifted up in the air. That's how heavy that wind was. That's a pretty strong wind. Laptop is not light. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. He said, I hope they are rightfully honored and remembered for the bravery and sacrifice. The Chinese communists won't remember Claire Chennault and the Flying Tigers, or Joe Stilwell and my grandfather with the Merle's Marauders liberating Southeast Asia from the Japanese and freeing the pressure against China. Trump went on to wish Xi and the wonderful people of China a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States. Oh, you gotta love Trump. He's hilarious. Oh my goodness. The federal appellate panel rejects Trump's deportations order under the wartime law. Federal panel ruled that Trump unlawfully invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans, finding no invasion or predatory incursion has occurred. Well, they're absolutely insane. There has been invasion. You don't have to have an invasion by an armed force. People pouring across your border is an invasion. The three-judge panel of New Orleans-based U.S. Court of Appeals for Fifth Circuit rejected Trump's use of the 1798 Aliens Enemies Act to remove alleged members of Venezuela's Trinidad gang, including the president of the country, did not amount to the type of invasion or predatory incursion lawmakers envision. Well, the judges are wrong. They're wrong. The 2-1 decision from the panel made up of judges from one of the nation's most conservative appellate courts follows a string of similar rulings from lower courts across the country. Writing from Majority Judge Leslie Southwick said Trump's assertions the Venezuelan government had encouraged Trinidad members to immigrate to the United States illegally to traffic drugs and commit acts of violence did not amount to the type of military conflict Congress envisioned. And Kathy Martin just gave a super chat of, is that 150 Rand? Super chats are gathering. Super chats are gathering. Clouds are forming. Good to see you guys here. We just went 527 to 506 just like that. What the heck happened? What the heck happened there, folks? What the heck happened there? All right, let me see what happened. That was all of a sudden kind of quick there. Where's the pluckies? Berto just gave 140 Rand super chat. Ooh, must be the first of the month. Yeah, Ludwig does sound very German. Yeah, we should investigate those judges. It's because I'm drinking coffee. Not sure if this is right place. I saw something about Doge. Is it a crypto which you warn about? Or is it that? Karen, I don't invest in cryptocurrency. I think it's speculative. There's nothing underlying it. You could say the same thing about fiat currency, but the difference is that, as we've proven with fiat currency, it is backed by the goodwill and good faith of the U.S. government, for instance, the dollar. So viewers are gathering. It'd be nice if they keep gathering. Why aren't they gathering earlier and watching all my videos? That'd be nice, but I'm glad to see 500 of you here right now. Yeah, look, you can invest all you want in cryptocurrency. Ronaldo is a proponent for it. I'm not. I've seen people lose their ass in cryptocurrency. It's not a wise investment in my book. It's not an investment. It's speculative. You can say the same thing about stocks, but the difference with stocks is that companies that consistently return profits and grow and get larger return dividends to people, and that's the actual cash payment back, and they also get share value growth. And so, it's up to you. But if you want to invest in crypto, that's on you. But I will not recommend crypto to anybody. I'm not going to dissuade you. It's not my place to dissuade you from your investment decisions. I'm just telling you that I don't invest in crypto, and I wouldn't do it. And I saw a question on one of the South African news sites today. When did you start saving for your retirement? Was it under 20? Was it 20 to 30, 30 to 40? I began saving for my retirement at age 18. Age 18. I never trusted the U.S. government that Social Security would be there when I'm still not old enough for Social Security, but I still don't trust that I'll get what I'm supposed to get. Right now, I would get the maximum payment because I paid the maximum amount in for such a long period of time, my highest 10 earning years, which means that I would get the highest payment possible. But that's barely enough to pay my mortgage and pay my mortgage, my cable, my car insurance, my electricity, my mobile phone, and I have a little bit of money left over to buy a couple tins of dog food. That's it. That's what Social Security gets for me. It's not enough to live off of. I can't live off of that, even with the maximum Social Security payment. And I realized that at the age of 18, it's not a retirement plan. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme, a scam to hoodwink Americans into living in poverty in their older years. Social Security is not a living wage. And then in 1986, they began taxing Social Security benefits. Trump has put a freeze on that temporarily. So if you get Social Security and you're still working, they reduce your Social Security benefits, which you earned. If you have income over a certain level, they tax you over $10,000 of income. And it's insane. Anyway, so no, I began saving for my retirement at the age of 18 when I entered the Army. Yep. Been doing it ever since. All right, so what else we got here? So the FBI has arrested a veteran, an Afghanistan veteran, and the Guardian wants to make it out like they're targeting veterans. No, they're targeting people who violate the law. If you're a veteran, that doesn't give you the right to break the law. That doesn't give you the right to undermine immigration law. That doesn't give you the right to invade and trespass on federal property, which is what this veteran did. He gets no sympathy from me. His former commanding officers make excuses for him. And this is a problem, an issue I take with some Afghanistan veterans who think it's okay to undermine U.S. immigration law to help Afghans come to America because they believe that they belong here, that they have a right to come here. Lorette, I'm sorry to hear that. That's South Africa. Legal experts say charge against Afghanistan war veteran Bajan Mavawala mark an escalation of the Trump administration's crackdown on First Amendment rights. No, it's not. See, they're conflating First Amendment rights with criminal acts. He conspired, and that's what it is. So legal experts say the case marks an escalation. Afghanistan war veterans who know him say the case against him appears unjust. Well, knowing somebody, look, I know a guy who was court-martialed for homicide. I was shocked. He was found not guilty, but he was involved in a situation that led to the death of an Iraqi two-star general. The abuse that occurred in Abu Ghraib. I was shocked. Knowing somebody doesn't mean you know the facts of the case. I didn't know the facts of that case. And these people, just because they know this guy, they think it's unjust. You don't know what he did. You weren't there. Here's a guy who had a top-secret clearance and was privy to some of the most sensitive information we have, who served in combat zone, said Kenneth Cooper, retired colonel, who trained the Afghan military and police. To see him treated like this really sticks in my craw. Well, Colonel Coop, were you there? Are you familiar with the indictment and charges against him? The 11 June protests against the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency that led to his arrest was confrontational, leaving a government van's windshield smashed and tires slashed. But he was not among the more than 24 people arrested at the scene. He escaped. A month passed before the FBI arrived at his door on July 15th. The 35-year-old who used his GI Bill to earn a degree in sustainable communities from Sonoma State University was set to move into a 3,000 square foot house that day, which he had bought with his girlfriend, a nurse and a fellow Afghanistan war veteran, with the help of a loan backed by the Veterans Affairs. His father, retired U.S. Army intelligence officer with 3 Bronze Stars earned during tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, brought his truck for the occasion. He planned to move his son into a dream home in the bucolic southern section of Spokane, was large enough to accommodate their blended family. But at 6 a.m., the FBI knocked on his door and arrested him. Cell phone video shot shows the veteran smiling in apparent disbelief. While the indictment alleges other protesters struck federal officers and let the air out of the tires of an ICE transport, he was not charged with obstruction and assault. Instead, he was charged with conspiracy to impede or injure officers. According to the indictment, he and his co-defendants physically blocked the driveway. He has no criminal record and he pled not guilty. And we have veterans standing up for someone who violated the law. He was involved in a violent protest. Whether he took acts or not isn't germane. Anyway, so conspiracy. There you go, folks. All right, that's going to wrap it up here. All right, I've got to run over to Ronaldo. So let me see if he can send me a link here. All right, that's it, guys. We'll see you on Ronaldo. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. We haven't even hit 500 likes, and there's 517 people here. Thanks for the super chat money. And I will do a night owls probably later tonight, a brief one. We'll see. But that's it for today. Catch you tomorrow, folks. Cheers. Don't forget, I'm going to do the Springboks game on the weekend before I go to the competition in New York for the Women's World Cup. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.